Yeah, this is Coach Olver. This is your October pitching video analysis. I'm going to start by just playing through the video in slow motion. Okay, so first thing I like to look at, well, let me start by just saying there's 5 phases of pitch and delivery that I like to look at and break down. And those are hip load, hip lead, hip separation, release, and follow through. Okay, I really like to focus on the first 3 because it's the kinetic chain, so they kind of happen sequentially. So if there's a problem in the first couple, then it's going to lead to issues further down the chain. All right, so the first one is hip load. When we go into hip load, a couple things I like to look for. First, I want to see that front leg track up towards that back ear. Okay, so if you look at yours, your front leg goes pretty far behind you. Okay, and what has a tendency to happen is we have a tendency to swing our hips open when we turn this far back with that lower half. So I want to see this front knee go in a trajectory more towards that back ear or back shoulder. All right, so kind of on this line right here. Okay, and then when we get to that point, I want to see your hips go before your shoulders and head. Okay, if you watch, everything kind of moves down the mound at the same time. Okay, so we're not really engaging our lower half and engaging our glutes very well when we do that. So when we get to the max height of our leg kick, okay, which for you is about right there. And remember, we want that leg kick to be coming more towards the camera, kind of on a straight line towards that, so it's lifting up towards that back shoulder. We want our hips to go first. Okay, our hips our front hip should be slightly elevated, and that needs to move down the mound first while our head stays back. All right, that gets us in the best position to really get into our glutes and drive laterally down the mound. All right, so those are some big things that we need to work on, because we'll see here in a second how it's causing issues. It's causing issues further down the chain. All right, so big thing for you, fixing that front leg, and then thinking hips go first. All right, and as that leg lifts, the last thing I'll say about that, it can be a little easier to send those hips first if you get that front hip kind of slightly elevated compared to the back hip. All right, that'll help you lead with those hips a little bit easier, but it's really hard to do that when our leg swings this far back behind our body. All right, next is we go into hip lead. All right, when we go into hip lead, I like to draw a vertical line right at the back of your shin. All right, and I want to see how you're driving yourself down the mound. Okay, now first, if you notice your leg kick, all right, you go up, you go down, and then you kind of step out with that front side. All right, and when we step out in that up, down, and out fashion, we're not getting a lot of lateral drive from our backside. Okay, our back leg is what pushes us down the mound, not stepping open with the front leg. Okay, and if you look, you'll notice as we get into hip lead, all right, we're not getting much of an angle here in order to push into the ground. All right, we want to create a slight angle with that back knee in order to push into the ground at an angle going this way, because remember, every action is an equal and opposite reaction, so we want to be able to push into the ground kind of almost backwards in order to propel us down the mound forward. All right, but when we don't get much of an angle there with that back knee, it's really hard for us to do that. All right, so instead, in order to get yourself down the mound, you swing open that front leg in order to get yourself down. All right, so if we can create a better angle with that back leg, then we can get into our glutes and we can drive down the mound instead of stepping down the mound. All right, another way that we can look at this is I want to see that back shin, or I want to see this leg stay much more vertical. All right, if you look, this back leg is kind of going in a direction this way. All right, we want that thing going more down the mound towards our target that way. Okay, that back knee should go directly in towards your catcher All right, and the only way we can do that is if we sit our hips back, almost like we're in a squat. All right, and that'll help you engage your glutes more and help you rotate better. All right, so these are just some things to think about, and I know it's a lot of information, so if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. But I'm just trying to show you a couple things here that we can work on over the next month. All right, as we go into hip separation, one thing I want you to look for or look at is your glove side. All right, so I'm going to start back here. Notice your glove side. All right, your glove, your shoulders start to open right here already. Okay, and the way I can tell is I look at your glove, when our thumb is up, all right, our shoulders aren't able to stay closed very effectively. Okay, at this point, we want our thumb to be down with that glove side, and that'll help you keep your shoulders closed and help you create more hip to shoulder separation, which when timed correctly can increase velocity. Okay, but the problem is this shoulder never gets a chance to be blocked off or closed because our glove side isn't working very well. All right, we want that glove side to work thumb down to thumb up. So when we get into front foot strike, our glove should still be up in this position, and our thumb should be pointed down. Okay, that allows us to close off that front shoulder. It gives our hips a chance to open up while our shoulders stay closed, which creates hip to shoulder separation, which is a marker for added velocity. All right, so that glove side is something we really need to work on. All right, thinking thumb down to thumb up on that. Okay, and then you can think about elevating it also. All right. So as we get into front foot strike, all right, that's the biggest thing that I see there. All right, we got to get that glove up so we can block off the upper half. All right. And then as we get into release, okay, big thing that I see in release is this front leg needs to have more extension. Okay. It's known as a lead leg block, and basically our lead leg has to stop our energy that's going forward down the mound, and it has to transfer it up our torso and out our hand. But the problem is if this leg doesn't extend, then we're losing some energy. All right, if you watch your knee when you land, all right, so we've landed, see how it continues to move forward? All right, we're losing energy there. Okay, so if you check out the app and go and look at some lead leg block drills, that can be really, really, really helpful for you. All right, and might get you a few more ticks on the fastball. All right, same thing needs to happen when we hit. All right, remember that front leg needs to be extended as we go into contact. All right, it's the same type of thing that aids our hip rotation, stops that transfer of energy from leaking forward, and it sends it up our torso and out our hands. Okay, so a big thing for you, Garrett, is thinking about that glove side, elevating it, working thumb down to thumb up. All right, working on some lateral drive with our backside. Okay, and then finally looking at the lead leg block drills in order to fix that front leg. All right, because an athlete like you, of your size and your ability to rotate well, if you can hit the ball hard and as far as you can, all right, you can throw hard too. We just got to clean up some of these mechanical issues in order to help you do that. All right, like always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to either Coach Glover or myself, and I really look forward to seeing what kind of changes you can make over the next month. Thank you.